Back in 2021, I ordered myself a standard range Polestar 2 through my workplace's salary sacrifice EV scheme. And the first thing I did, as any sensible new EV owner would do, was take it on a 2,000-mile road trip from Brighton, my hometown, all the way to the very edge of Cornwall at Land's End, to the very top of Scotland at John Groats, the two furthest points across the Great British mainland, and of course all the way back home again. So 2,000 miles, and to kind of make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit spicier, I did it over the Christmas break. And it was all to test out the public charging infrastructure at the time, and to really answer the question of how easy is it to do a road trip in an EV back in 2021. Fast forward 2 years on, and I was given another opportunity. This time, test out the latest Polestar 2 with its new improved long-range battery and allegedly a much more improved public charging infrastructure system here in the UK. And the Christmas period was dawning upon us, and I thought, hey, why not recreate exactly the same road trip, try it all out and just see what happens. So you catch me on day one, the morning of the start of the adventure at Land's End, starting our trip up north, and that's where we shall resume the video. It's freezing cold, it's so windy. It says John Groats is that way, 874 miles away, so maybe we start heading back that way into the car where it's warmer. Let's see how far it is to get to John Groats, and for that I'm going to use my assistant Google. So hey Google, navigate to John Groats. 837 miles, 14.5 hours. So realistically, it's going to be long, like 15, 16 hours with breaks. But we're not going to be going straight to John Groats tonight. That would be ridiculous. I think we'll be stopping somewhere like north of Glasgow to make it a little bit more sensible. I think that's the plan tonight. So we'll start making our way over to Scotland. So our three main objectives of this trip are to find out just how much range this new and improved so-called long-range Polestar 2 will actually give us in real-world driving, to find out what the UK's charging infrastructure is like on such a busy period of the year, and finally to find out just how long we'll actually have to stop and wait for this Polestar to charge while on this epic road trip. Land's End is now a distant memory. We've travelled 123 miles, it's just gone 11:30, and we've actually got 57% charge, even though we've travelled 123 miles. Like that's nuts. It says now we're going to be running out of charge well north of Birmingham at this stage, so we're actually getting more and more efficient the further away we get from Cornwall.
Few moments later.
189 miles driven so far, and 3.5 hours. That's my range. That's my personal range. I can go 3.5 hours without a break, but now I'm absolutely just struggling. I need a break. Right, here we go. I'll be right back. Ooh. And we are back. Oh my god, I feel so much better. So we've still got 37% charge, which suggests about 120 miles of range. Pretty decent. I think we'll stop in Birmingham at the new Ionity Ultra Super Mega Quick Chargers that they've installed. I think they built them this year. They're quite fresh. Hey Google, navigate to Ionity Birmingham. 88 miles. Perfect. It'll be the perfect time to have some lunch as well. Ideal. Let's go. We are 10 minutes away from our stop, 7.5 miles to go, 10% charge left. I could actually make it to the next set of charges just outside Birmingham if I really wanted to, but I am, yet again, desperate for a wee. We're not far off, the weather's held up quite nicely. I've been nearly sideswiped twice by pensioners in cars. Please adjust your mirrors, look at your blind spots, don't crash into me, you'll have no chance. It is empty, that's perfect. Right, let's plug in first. Here we go. The chargers. It's gone green. What speeds are we gonna get? Battery is at 9%. 140, 150, 160. Can we get to 200? Come on, 200. 200! That's impressive. Okay, look, let's run into Starbucks, have a quick little wee, and then that'd be like, what, 5 minutes? We'll come back, see how much charge we've got. Let's go. Just walked out of Starbucks, back to the car now. We've actually gained like 200 miles worth of range in 20 minutes. That's unreal. 84% state of charge, 280 mile predicted range. Hey Google, navigate to Ionity, Carlisle. 192 miles, that's not so bad. We did 270 miles between Land's End and coming up to here. So this is nothing, that's a piece of cake. Well, okay. Let's get going, folks. Let's get going. Okay, first charging stop now complete. And to recap, we actually started at Land's End with 99% charge. We've driven 280 miles exactly between Land's End and West Bromwich Ionity charges in Birmingham, arriving at just 9% charge remaining. So we'd covered that distance over 90% of the battery. If we do some quick maths, that works out to being 311 miles worth of range in real-world driving in, let's be honest, not ideal weather conditions, prorated back. Quite impressive, actually. Right, back to the video. I've got to say, there's a particular feature that has made this trip so far and traffic jams an absolute doddle. It's the pilot assist pack, which essentially means there's like little robots in the car that control your accelerator, your brake and your steering for you, which means you can kind of just, you know, recline back and have a nap. Nope, that's illegal, you can't be doing that. But it means as long as I've got like a hand on the wheel, the car will like keep itself in the lane and pretty much do most of the driving for me as long as I'm focused on the road still. But it does also mean that I can reach out every once in a while and grab myself a little snack. And speaking of snacks, actually, like cinemas and holidays, calories don't count for those things and road trips are included. But if you were to go on a road trip, what sort of food do you bring with you? Like, I've always got something to munch on. Ah, the glistening red brake lights on the M6 northbound on the evening before Christmas Eve. And I think to myself, all these cars around me have engines rumbling away, not doing very much, and here I am snacking away with the car pretty much driving itself, and not a single carbon/nitrous oxide being emitted into the world. What a nice thought. Though I'm sure a common thought that I share with my fellow traffic jammers is just how do we keep ourselves entertained on these monotonous traffic jams, and this, I'm afraid, is where things start to take a turn for the worst. Hey Siri.
I'll take that as a compliment, but I'm your Google Assistant.
For so small, you seem so strong. I wanna wake me up if I can wake up in a city that doesn't. Oh my god, these chargers are amazing. There's so many of them. Which one do we pick? Let's pick this one. Oh boy. And there's always a Starbucks at these Ionities, which I greatly appreciate. Green. Do you know what? I'm not even going to get the speed, I'm just going to go run to the loo. It is unbelievably windy up here and it's just not pleasant anymore. But I am starting to break a bit, I'm a bit tired. It's just gone 8 PM now. We're about to hop back in the car. God, this wind is awful. Let's hop back in. Right, here we go, 88%, 290 miles of range. Gotta say, shattered at the moment. I know it's only 8 PM, but we left, what was it, like 11 hours ago, 9 AM. So we've been driving for a god-awful long time, but I reckon we'll camp out about sort of 10, 11 PM tonight. So we'll go past Glasgow for sure. We'll find a nice little quiet spot, get cozy, and then, yeah, head to bed. But I'm gonna make myself some tea and then we'll head out. And stop. Okay, so our second charging stop of the trip so far. Bearing in mind we started all the way at the edge of Cornwall at Land's End, we're now at the very top of England at Carlisle, stopping at Ionity. These are brand new chargers and don't they look fantastic? Or is it just me? I'm just a bit geeky like that. Moving on. But bear in mind we've stopped at Carlisle here with 24% charge, but we started from West Bromwich in Birmingham with 84% charge, so a nice tidy 60% of the battery used to get us up here and travel 192 miles. And with my calculations, that means we would have actually done 3.2 miles per percent, which means 320 miles for a full charge of battery. Again, pretty impressive stuff, but how far will we get now with this new set of charge? Where will it end up? Will we find somewhere to charge overnight? Or will it be a scenic camping spot? All that and more coming up right now. I really hope it's going to be scenic. I actually know the answer to this, but you don't yet. Time to settle in for the final stint, finishing off the M6, and I'm reminded at the fact that we've just crossed all of England, making it here through the Scottish border. What a celebration it is, but we still have a long way to go. Thankfully, the lights in Glasgow keep us slightly more awake than we were previously, and the high beam lights here on the Polestar also keep me very entertained. Look how cool that is. The roads get narrower, they get faster, and they definitely get a lot more dangerous here, especially after this rain, but we finally make it to our camping spot for the night, somewhere quiet, somewhere safe. Oh, what a day. We're here now. We're going to go to bed. I know I've made an absolute fool of myself from the singing. Sorry, Connie, you've had to deal with that all day. Actually, I'm really excited to see the view tomorrow as well. That's going to be quite cool. Right, good night, everyone.
The next day.
Good morning, folks. It is 10 to 8 in the morning. It is pitch dark. It's pouring down with rain. It's quite windy, and it will only be getting windier afterwards. But the plan is for this morning to have breakfast at Fort William. There's a Tesla supercharger there that I want to try out. I've never charged a Tesla supercharger. For those of you who don't know, Tesla chargers used to be exclusive to Teslas only, but now about half of them in the UK are open to any electric car, and they're normally the cheapest like rapid chargers you can find anywhere. So that's the plan, that's where we're going to go. But first we'll show you where we've parked up. Hopefully this light will do us some justice. Right, you can't see very much. I'm not going to do this for very long, but hopefully you can see a bit more now. So we're currently on, here we go, 32% charge with 110 miles to go. I left the heating on pretty much all night. Hey Google, navigate to Tesla supercharger Fort William. Here we go, an hour and a half. That's not too bad, to be fair. Okay, let's turn it all on, get the lights going, and we'll head on our way. The scenery has opened up around us, but one thing to note is we are now in the Scottish Highlands. We're going up and up and up in altitude, and it's burning through the charge. But of course, what comes up must come down. And the nice thing about electric cars is when you go down a mountain or down a hill, the motor turns into a generator. So when you're slowing down, that gravity is being turned into electrical energy to charge the battery back up. So I'm not too worried, although I should be, but I'm not. It's all going to be fine. Anyway, back to the scenery.
Few moments later.
Never mind, the scenery's gone. We are now in like hurricane force winds, torrential rain, and the car started to like shake about in the wind. I could be in bed right now. I could be at home with a hot chocolate on the sofa or in bed. No, I'm not. I'm here. Mercifully, the weather did finally give us a bit of a break, and on these stunning twisty roads coming up to Fort William, we finally make it to our charging stop with just 5% charge left. Let's see how we get on. Officially charging with a Tesla supercharger. Look at that. 200 kilowatts already. That was impressive. 20 minutes later, and we've added, what, 60% charge? Like, we're nearly at 70% charge and we're still pulling 102 kilowatts. This thing's amazing. Hello, Tesla friend.
McDonald's.
Let's make it back to the car. Oh, 89%. We're sorted. Hey Google, navigate to John or Groats. That's not even that far away. Maybe we'll stop over at Loch Ness. There it is. Yeah, let's do that. Let's head to Loch Ness. Guys, this is our final charging stop. We've made it to nearly the top. We've had 3 charging stops so far. We woke up at the edge of Cornwall yesterday morning, and look at where we are now. But that last stint between Carlisle and the Fort William chargers, we used quite a bit of battery. We used 83% of our battery to make it 198 miles, which actually seems like quite a lot. If we did the maths, that works out to a battery range of 232 miles for 100%. And that's like, what, 80 miles less than it would have been on the trip so far. But remember, we camped for the night. 8 hours worth of sleep, 8 hours worth of the heating being left on to keep me nice and cozy. And I absolutely loved every second of that. So I don't miss that extra 10% I would have otherwise lost. But quite frankly, the fastest, most interesting, most fun roads are still ahead of us. Let's see how we get on for the final stint of this adventure. Hello, Loch Ness. It's dead empty. There are ducks there. I'm going to take this opportunity to get some photos, I think, with that view before the weather breaks yet again, because it's bound to do so. 40 miles to go, folks. And I've got to say, right now, I appreciate the thought that's gone into making this Polestar handle the way it does. And the benefit of this new model is they've moved the motor. So the Polestar that I've got, the 2-year-old model, has the motor driving the front wheels as standard, but this one has the motor driving the back wheels. So when you throw it into a corner, it just pushes you into them and pushes you out. This, driving the back wheels, is such a transformation, honestly. Whoa. ...1,142 miles, Brighton, Lands End, John Groats. We're here, this is it. And they have brand new chargers. With Osprey, which means we can use Electroverse. Yes! That was not fun.
Still a warning in force until the end of the day. The risk of...
I think there's been a power cut. Oh? This trip was to prove that during one of the busiest times of the year, the Christmas break, when everyone's rushing around on the motorways trying to get from one place to another, we could do this trip, me and Connie and you guys, just fine. So hopefully that has taught you something, given you some new information you didn't know before, but this has been the trip. But tomorrow we'll meet you in the morning, we'll have a look at the sunrise, we'll have a amazing drive back down south. But once again, thanks for joining us, and here's the next adventure, folks.
The next day.
It's just gone 9:15 in the morning. We're going to park up by the John Groats sign, get a couple of photos to mark the occasion, celebrate the achievements of this trip, and then start making our way down. Thanks so much again for following us on this trip. It has been magical. But this is the official end. Once we've got the photos up of John Groats, that's the official end of this trip. You guys can relax. Oh, look at these smiley, happy photos. But remember, we set off this trip with 3 main objectives. How much range does this new Polestar get? How fast does it charge? And also, has the UK's charging infrastructure really improved since 2021? And we've got the answers. To the first point, this Polestar has an impressive bit of range, comfortably close to 300 miles, if not over 300 miles in most driving conditions, and in the worst conditions I'd allow to the mid 250s. Speaking of charge, the charging speed on this Polestar is phenomenal. 20 minutes will get you 200 miles of range when plugged into a 200 plus kilowatt charger. All the ones we stumbled across on the trip were north of 200 kilowatts. That was nice and easy. And of course, the chargers that we actually stumbled across were very plentiful. We had way more options and a sheer number of chargers per site, which is really important to help minimize congestion at sites, versus the trip in 2021. So I'm pleased to say it's all green flags. Major improvements have happened in the last couple of years, and I'm excited to see just how far it gets from here on and beyond. All that's left now is for me to drive all the way back down to the south coast where I live. But Scotland has one more surprise with us, and it's a last-minute little snowstorm during the Highlands, which made my trip home a little bit more interesting than it would have been otherwise. But again, thanks for following us. Do feel free to subscribe, to check out my next videos, and actually leave us a comment with maybe what car you'd pick to do this trip in if you had the choice. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.